Hey guys, welcome to another one of our reviews. I'm the Worm, and this is the Proton. Today we're going to be doing a review of something that's not even on the market yet. Completely new, only a few guys have got this, but we got this from Really-Ecigarette.com, and yeah.
What we are doing today is the VPro electronic cigarette from Really-Ecigarette.com. Raoul sent this out to ourselves as well as a couple of other guys, basically to test and kind of semi-review at the same time. So we've had a little play with it, and we're going to sort of do our review as well as some testing as well, all in one hit, which is wicked. So yeah, basically that's what we're going to do. It's a full kit. We are going to do a close-up of the kit just in case you are interested, just exactly what it looks like and bits and bobs. You're also going to show the menu system.
Yep.
As well. We're going to show you the menu system as well.
Go through that as much as we can remember.
Indeed.
In our own sort of fashion, as we normally do.
Poor at best, as always. Yeah, and then basically I think what we'll do is we'll save all the flapping and the kind of the review / testing side of it afterward, coming back up to us.
Just so people who want to actually see the product can actually see it straight away, and then if they don't want to watch us flapping and going into the very particulars and that,
then you
have flapping and particulars, but
yeah, it's a particular amount of flapping.
Yes.
But yeah, I think we'll do that. We'll go down into a little close-up quickly, just show you a little bit about it, what you get in the kit, and then we'll come back up to us and have a nice little discussion about it.
Alright guys, this is the VPro variable voltage, variable wattage box where it comes in. It is a little kit. You do get an overhead in here as well, as it shows on the top right there, but we're just going to take this off, slide it off nice and slow because obviously it's air pressured a little bit. There we go, and comes in like that. I have charged this battery, not fully, but I've been using it as well, so but that's your VPro.
Very Z-Max.
E. Yes.
Yeah. What?
You said very Z-Max?
Very Z-Maxy?
Yeah.
Alright, good job.
This is what you get underneath. You've got your charging cable, which is different from any other mod that we've seen. You get like this, obviously, because you can just plug this into USB and charge this through this, which just basically slots on, or screws on like a normal atomizer would. And you can plug that in to either any USB device or your plug, which is right there into the wall, and that will actually charge your device. But as an added bonus with this one, you get a little out USB as well, so you can actually plug your phone in and charge both at the same time from one plug, which is, in my, well, for me, my humble opinion, is top dollar for that. I mean, I've never seen that anywhere else with any other device yet, so this is very new and quite nice. And obviously that's your plug for your actual USB device or anything else you want to use it for, basically. Also comes with a little Nova down here. I mean, I'm quite sure you guys know, if you're buying one of these, you know what a Nova is and how to use it, but I will give it a quick run through just now before we go into the settings of the VPro. Basically your drip tip comes off, it goes on the side over there. Basically, I didn't do that, top coil's a bit loose. I think I just tighten that up inside. But basically what you do is just drip down the side of that well till your tank is full, put it back on, and you are ready to roll with that, and that's your Nova. The only difference with this mod is that you do have to have an atomizer on here to actually go into your menu settings, which is kind of good but kind of bad at the same time as well. It's kind of got its plus and its positives. I mean, the good thing is that you're not going to fire your battery while you haven't got an atomizer on it. It will just tell you battery voltage, which is 3.7 at the moment, but it won't fire at all, so that is good. But you can't obviously change anything on your settings unless you put a device on the top. Put your top on and it's like three clicks. That's your voltage setting. That's it. Oh. Sorry guys, I'm doing this upside down. Right, voltage, wait a few seconds, and there you go, you got 4, 4.7, 4.8, 4.9, 5. Go through that, and I'm quite sure it does round robin. Yes it does, there we go. Just drop back down. So that obviously goes through that, just leave it a few seconds and it obviously comes off of that, and then you can go again if you want to change it again. Next one is, that is your LEDs on and off. Number 2, we're not going to turn them off because we obviously want to see. That's your check battery, which is 3.7 like it says when it was firing, but without our device on top. Going to number 4 now if we can. That's your atomizer ohms. It will test your ohms, which at the moment is 3.2. The overhead's very unstable. That's number 5, which was, sorry guys, I can't read that upside down. Can't remember. LO. Remember what LO is?
I think that's an LED off for the battery.
Oh yeah,
the button. Sorry.
That's the LED. Sorry guys.
We're poor as always, guys. You know how we roll. 6
menus is, you're going to cock one of them up, and that's for your watches setting, which is with your power, and then it changes up, and then it'll be on watts next time you actually fire it. To get it back onto voltage, you just go in and change the voltage as setting, and it'll be back on volts. So that's the way you change watts and volts over as well. So it is kind of easier because you ain't got to hold any buttons to actually change it with like other devices to change it from watts to volts. But this, you just go into the menu, select the voltage you want it, or the wattage you want, and then let it go off, and then you're ready to go. See, that's now running at 10 watts. We'll turn that back onto volts just to show you. Volts, get it to where I want it, which is about 4.2. There we go. Let it go off, and there you go. See, it's on volts now. So it's quite not the easiest menu system, but it's not the hardest by a long stretch either. Kind of like your standard, like your ZMAX, Provari kind of menu settings. And but that's it up close. I mean, I think we're on autofocus. We'll just give you a show of the look of it up close. A few little indents there, kind of like your ZMAX and your VMAX. Provari kind of nipple drips at the top, and then your battery is obviously goes in from the bottom. It does come with a 18650 in it. It's a 2200 mAh. It's actually got a VPro on it, so it's actually made for this device. It's a flathead
Samsung battery.
Yes, and
good battery.
It's not a bad one, so top marks for that as well. But I have tried other batteries in there, and charging it with this cable does the same thing. It's actually really good, and while you're charging it as well, it will actually tell you the actual battery level on the actual screen. The screen will be on the whole time it's charging, so it will tell you when it's at 4.2 or 4.1.6, and you can see when it's fully charged basically, so that's all good as well. But it's a 3-button system to get into your menu, and that's pretty much it for the up close of that. I mean, it has got a little well, it's 510 obviously. It doesn't have ego unfortunately, but on these sort of devices it's not a big loss really. I mean, if you're looking to put EVODs on this sort of thing, you're probably not using it for the right sort of devices. These are normally for like higher end devices, I would say, because you want to be tailoring your stuff a little bit more. I mean, don't get it wrong, Novas on here do look pretty cool. It's not going to look offset, but for me and Mr. Proton anyway, that gap is kind of huge, and the lip down there is not what we'd use it for basically. But yeah, that is the VPro up close. A very quick one, that one. I'm quite surprised I got through that so quick. Is there anything you want to add, Mr. Proton, while you're in the background?
No. Well, no.
No. I think I covered everything, didn't I, in that?
Pretty much. Only the fact that it's a 20-watt device, and it will round robin from 20 down to 3.
Oh yes, it is
but
20.
It does round robin from
yes, yes.
That
is the other thing. It is 20 watts. What we probably told you this before we've done.
Well, we'll have a monumental flap as per the norm anyway.
Yeah,
so
we'll catch everything we've missed anyway. So
to be honest with you guys, this is just more to show you the menu system and to make sure you can get a proper look at the device. All the information really is done when we're up and having a vape, because that's when we think best.
Yes.
Too much pressure down here.
Alright guys, so we're going to pop it back up to us now and you'll see us in a sec. Alright guys, that was the close-up of the VPro with the obviously the Nova. Yeah, that was all the menu systems that we can... Look, we hope we got them all bang on, but we probably got one maybe wrong.
More than likely we usually do, but you got to see it up close and personnel. This is a full kit. We'll go into sort of some of the nitty-gritty. Well, the information we've got is only guesstimations we've got from having discussion rail from Really.
Yeah, nothing we say is ironclad or...
It's no concrete, it's not concrete, but I mean the device itself, as far as we're aware, that is the finished article, and unless maybe changes are made, but we're not aware that that's going to happen, yeah. So we're not entirely sure. Price, okay, for the full kit that you've just seen, including the wire, the plug, the battery, the Nova, the drip tip, and the kind of like stainless steel ZMAX, but the VPro is so far $99.99 is what Rail's expecting to be selling these for. Okay, price is obviously subject to change. We're not 100% concrete on these. The mod itself, if you wanted to buy it standalone with nothing included, £65, which I don't think is too unreasonable when you consider the price of the Z-Max. It's basically pretty much the same. You can buy the battery itself from Rail as well, which is it's a high-grade Samsung 2200 mAh 18650, and that is $14.99. So far, these are just prices that Rail is sort of spitballing at us.
Yeah.
None of these are concrete. It can go down, it can go up. We're not entirely sure as to what's
some of the things that are not going to change is some of the big selling points of this. It does go to 20 watts. That is one of the biggest selling points of this. It's obviously hitting it higher than any other device out there, except for obviously the
DNA20s and sort of like devices.
But you've also got this wire, which
PPB. This wire.
I can't remember if we did point it out.
We didn't.
But when you put it onto your battery, just say you've charged it up fully and you've got it out and about with you and you've got your wire with you. I'm just going to have to grab my wire here. Sorry, guys. You put your phone charger, any kind of USB phone charger, into the out and plug your phone into it. It should charge.
Should charge. It does charge. Yeah, but basically acts as a portable power bank. This mod, so you can plug that wire into the top. Now, Raul said to work with sort of Samsung and Samsung and iPhones, that kind of device. Worm's just checking it now. It's not guaranteed to work with all, but Worm is now using a Sony.
You can see that up there. It is charging. You can see the little red light at the top anyway. That means it's charging. So
okay, so it will also charge Sony's. I'd imagine it will charge anything that can be charged via USB.
If you see that there, it does blink at you when. There we go. You caught that there. That was the blink that show you that it's charging off the battery there. So
okay, which is wicked, because if you do have a couple of batteries, depending on how heavy a vapor you are, you may carry two round with you anyway. And typically, I'll always carry my charger. So for my phone, that is. So if you're at somewhere where you could dock it in and plug it in, you can screw your device into it to charge it. You've also still got that USB female there as well that you can then stick your charger into as well, so you can charge two devices off of one USB port. Which is wicked, especially since one of them is electronic cigarette. It's unusual for mods to be a screw-in top charge.
Yeah.
But also, you could, in the battery goes, and you can charge it whilst you're out and about, which I think is actually a really cool selling point.
Yeah.
It's very handy.
I mean, that wire, I mean, it's only going to work with this mod. We did try it with a few of our other devices we got and it didn't work at all. So it's something to do in the chipset that's actually making it allowing it to work.
In the close-up, we point out that the device has to have an AT attached to it in order to access the menu system. We believe this is why. Because basically we're kind of figuring that the menu system's activated as a power output when a device is attached that isn't an electronic cigarette or whatever. I don't know how to calculate that, maybe something to do with checking resistance or whatever, but we're guessing the menu system won't allow you to access it unless you put an atomizer on, so that you can't play around with it whilst you've got a phone connected. I don't know whether that would have any negative impact, but I'd imagine it's got a set voltage that it uses to charge your device. So if you could actually tailor that, thinking, yeah, I'm going to speed up the charge and you could fry whatever. This is guesswork, guys. We don't know this 100%, but we'd figure that is something to do with it.
Yeah.
So there you go. That is that. But yeah, it's got a PPB and it will hit 20 watts, which is quite cool for a device it is only £65 mod or a kit for 100. And that does include everything you're going to need. So
yeah, it does come on with that. The only thing you're going to have to add extra with it is obviously your juice to go in with it. So
a little vape.
But that's the Nova on top, and I would like to say that on the Nova on this you get with it does come with is it an annual or is it steel?
That's stainless steel.
It's stainless steel.
A stainless steel drip tip. That's not one we've put on. That's one that comes with it.
Yeah.
Which I think is actually quite cool. Sorry guys, I'm just playing around with the menu system.
But yeah, the Nova that comes with it comes with it's probably meant to be a 2.8, but ours is reading at 3. Anybody who's got Novas knows that the heads aren't exact anyway, they're only ballpark figures, but this is actually hitting about 3. But with this device anyway, even if you've got heads that you don't know where it's hitting, you can test it on this device, so it's obviously another plus, so it doesn't really matter. So yeah, it's all good. But
indeed. We haven't, again guys, we haven't got every bit of information about this. As far as amp limit of the chipset goes, we have no idea. I'd imagine, seeing as it will hit 20 watts, it's going to be somewhere around 5 or 6 amps. But again, this is just guesswork and nothing but guesswork, alright?
Yeah.
Release date, we didn't point out, Rail's looking around December, Christmas kind of time, maybe slightly before, maybe slightly after. Again, nothing's concrete, but that's the kind of time this is expected to be released. And as and when release day comes closer, more information about this device will be available.
Yeah.
We don't know whether there's different colour options. All we know is it is what it is. This is what we've got to play with, and that is it. So
yeah, I personally used this for about a week and a half, like pretty much, not non-stop, but for the first week I pretty much used it non-stop. That I didn't use it with the Nova, I used it with my Kaito tank, just mainly because I just wasn't getting the hit that I need off vaping anymore. The Nova just isn't enough for me. So, but like if you're using this as a first mod starter kit, the Nova will more than happily fulfill your requirements and that. But I used this for a good week and a half, and no problems with it at all, no misfires, nothing. I mean, the only thing I had to get used to was if I didn't screw it on the actually tight enough for it to actually register, couldn't get into the menu, which was like, why can't I get into the menu? Another half a turn and it was all good to go. But other than that, it's actually a banging little device. It's not too heavy, it's not too light in the same respect either. It's about medium weight-ish.
It's fairly heavy. It's not. I wouldn't say it's miles off a Bavaria when it's got a battery in.
Yeah, but it's huge for a size.
It's an 18650.
It's an 18650 size, but I wouldn't say it's nowhere near as heavy as my Bavaria. So for me, the fact that it's not.
That's a heavy mod. That is a heavy mod.
Maybe I've just got used to it. I have been using it a lot. I don't think that's heavy.
Where's your Bavaria? I know the Bavaria's heavier, but it's not like. Yeah, but it's not like. Sorry guys, this is a bit of live chatting. I could get the scales out, but I'm going to guesstimate with a battery, and this is about 100 grams, there or thereabouts. I know the Bavaria's about 140, but it's definitely, if you're used to something like a Twist or an Eco,
it's going to be heavier than
that for sure. But you've got a lot in there, and it's all stainless steel, and the top and bottom are quite thick as well. So build quality.
I mean, I'm not saying it's not weighty at all, but I'm just saying it's not one of the heavier devices out there for its size, especially in 18650 mode. But yeah, it's not overly weighty. I had no problems cutting this around. It was fine. Whichever pocket I put it in, it didn't feel like I was weighed down on one side or the other. It's actually very comfortable to actually hold. Where the button is, it's actually quite in quite a nice place.
It does seem quite sort of ergonomic. You kind of just, and off you go. The button seems to be a nice place. Your screen's there, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, but yeah, I used it for a week and a half, and it was actually a very good little device. I did notice I had to hit it a little bit higher than what I wanted on my other mods, but when you're talking it's not a Bavaria, then it's not going to be hitting exactly what it's meant to every time. It's just not a Bavaria. You're not paying 170 quid for this thing. It's 65 quid or 100 quid if you want the kit, and to once you expect it with all mods, even like the Vamos and that we've previously done, the SVD, they don't hit exactly what they're meant to. They either hit a little bit low or a little bit above. They generally hit a little bit low. This one is no exception. It's just hitting a little bit low, but you're only talking like an increment of like 0.1 or 2 up, and you're back to where you want to be. So it's nothing to be like out of the ordinary sort of thing. It happens on every mod. No difference with this one, but obviously the thing I do like about this one is it's got 20 watts.
This has got 20 watt capability in the menu system. As well as just said though, we did do a little bit of testing. Got the tank emitter out because this isn't pulse modulated. This is flat signal. Got the tank emitter out and did some testing with the tank emitter on resistances. Used ohm law, calculated what the resistance should be. Now we did calculate the resistance on this device. That's important. We didn't use another device to calculate resistance. We calculated it on this, so that this device will be calculating it and putting through the required voltage to hit the watts that this device is set to. And testing did find that it was hitting about 0.3 of a volt low. But again, as William said, it kind of is what you expect in this kind of area. Unless you're paying Bavaria money, DNA 20 money, you do expect them to hit slightly low. I mean, it will go from 3 to 6 watts.
Yeah.
So if you was running something like a 1.5 ohm Kaito and you wanted to vape that at 20 watts, and you found it wasn't hitting quite hard enough, you could probably still bump that voltage up until the chipset would just not allow you to do it so anymore. I mean, even if you set it to the maximum, I imagine it'd cap it somehow to its maximum, which would be 20 watts. There you go.
So yeah, sorry guys, I just got a little thing in my eye.
Itchy eyeballs.
It's just this light, it shines in my eyes and it just makes me want to blink a lot and it keeps me going. But yeah, that is the VPro so far, and I quite enjoy using it actually.
It does feel very nice to use. It does feel.
I've had no problems with it at all. I mean, literally there's nothing really that has gone wrong with it at all.
No, the only thing that we should point out is the screen. When we first got it, the screen actually popped out on us. Okay. Now we're not entirely sure as to why it did. It did look at the screen. Did it have any damage?
No, there's no damage
to the screen. It just pops out. We've put it back in. There's been no problem since then. Since we put it back in the right way. but it was just something to be aware of. Now we'd imagine again that these are pre-production models, if you like, and they've probably not been really rigorously tested. Either that, or it could be, to be honest, it can be anything down to Royal Mail shipping, chucking things around. You know what they're like, guys. So just something that we wanted to point out on ours. We haven't read or had any problems with this anywhere else, so
no.
But wouldn't feel right if we didn't point that out.
No, it was just a little thing. It popped out when we first got it, and I put it back in the first time and I put it in the wrong way upside down. It was still like wobbling about, and then I put it back in the right way, and it's never fallen out since. It's actually, I don't think it even wiggles no more, does it?
No, the screen doesn't move anymore.
No, it doesn't move anymore. So it's obviously just literally push in and then it clicks in. And the click must have come loose somehow. So if you do get that, just make sure you get it in the right way, and it'll be fine again.
There you go. Very briefly, Raoul did say that the battery, would charge your phone to about 80%, give or take. Do you know what I mean? Depending on phone, sap on device, level of battery. I'm guessing that's from a completely full battery, 2,200 mAh. Those of you guys that are buying the kit, I think going from 0 to 8% is pretty impressive on one battery. It does mean you won't be able to vape, but if you've got that spare battery, wicked. If you've really got mods like we have, we've got some 18650s that are approaching 3,500 mAh, so we'd imagine you'd be able to get a full charge on your phone out of that, as well as continue vaping for a good half a day. So we do like that. I like the fact that the only thing you've got to do with this kit is press purchase and add a little bit of liquid, and we have tested some of Really's liquids and they have been pretty good as well, which is nice and cool, and I think that really the more you buy the cheaper it is as well, so that's pretty sweet. Should we go into a 5-point hit list with this one?
Yeah, I think we should, yeah. Looks on this device, I mean, on the actual VPro itself, I actually quite like it. It's very, it's kind of a mix between the Z-Max, VMAX and Provari, all kind of mingled into one little device. I actually quite like the look of this, and it's probably about a 9 for me. I quite like that. With the Nova on top that you get in the kit, yes, it's still, we love the Novas, you know we do. It's a bog standard device that just works every time you want it to. So yeah, 9 still.
For me, as is, I mean, it's just like a stainless steel Z-Max, let's be fair, but I do like the look of the Z-Max, and I do like stainless steel. For me, I'm gonna give it a 9 for looks. I do like the way it looks. It is sort of simple but effective, if that makes sense. You've got a few elegant touches. I do like the fact, I mean, even with your vent hole at the bottom, you've got one big vent hole and you've got 4 small ones sort of patterned around it, which again, it's nothing more than aesthetical really, because they're very small. But I like that kind of thing. It does look very sort of good. It does look good. So yeah, I'm going to give it a 9 for looks.
Yeah. Usability. It's only got the one button click menu system, which does make it a little bit more aggravating at times. It's not like to the point where it's completely unusable. It's just, yeah, it's not a preferred menu system for these sort of devices. So usability on this thing, other than making sure your battery's charged and you've got an ATI on top, the usability is probably hitting around about 7, just because of that one button menu system.
Usability for me, I am not a big fan of the one button menu system at all. I do not like using Worms Provider for this reason. I've got to say though, with quick pushes, this doesn't seem to lag. The Provider does now and again, very rarely, but it's usually when I'm going really quickly trying to scroll through when we're doing a video, because I've skipped past it. But the menu system itself it's not too bad. It's not too bad at all, I don't think. And although there is flaws with this in terms of usability, for me one of the main flaws, and it is not something that will bother a lot of people, but it does bother me, in the menu system you've got your 6 menus, which is fine, that's absolutely fine, lovely stuff. The main problem for me is that there's no down. There's no voltage down option in that menu. You've got a round robin. So when you want to change your voltage, say for example you want it to go from 4.4 to 4.2, you've got to go all the way through from 4.4 all the way back to 6, all the way back through 3 up to 4.2. It's not a major deal, especially if you are using a Nova and you're using the same resistance heads, or if you are indeed using the wattage setting, which is kind of this device's big selling point. I'm not a big watts vaper. I do prefer to tailor it really quite finely, and I like to know exactly what I've got. Most people won't like me, but that is for me personally, and it is a little niggle of mine, so I'm going to give it a 7 for usability. But it's not hard to use. It's just niggles. Things that could be improved.
It's niggles for us more than anything.
If I can improve the menu system, that would be what I'd put a volts down option, And what I would do, I mean, it does display your volts setting every time that you click it. You can turn that off. Okay, so when it fires, you can turn that off so it doesn't display that. Personally, I'd like to see that option gone, and I'd like to see power down in its place. I could live with having that flash all the time or not at all, unless I access the menu system, maybe just a light if I pushed it, but not having volts down does annoy me slightly. Has it got watts down, or is it the same with watts?
Same with watts.
See, that could be annoying from 5, or is it 3?
But once you set your watch, you should be staying at the same pretty much anyway.
But if you
I mean, I know some people do
devices,
tailor it.
With this kit, yeah, but if you're someone who's just buying the mod, and you've got cargo tanks, and you've got rebuildables, and you've got drippers, and you've got clearos, and glassomizers, and whatever else you may have, you still tailor it slightly, don't you, in between each one, so that could be slightly annoying. Just pointing that out.
Maintenance. Well, the VPro itself is not really hard to maintain. Just make sure you clean your threads out once or twice a week, and recharge your battery. That is pretty much all the maintenance you've got on the thing, really. I mean, most mods like this are a 10 because you just got to make sure your battery's charged. And with that extra wire, that's to make it even easier for you to charge on the go. Like you take it, you can put it in your pouch, put it in your pocket if you had to, and you can charge it anywhere off of any USB, or if you've got your plug as well with you, any wall socket. It's a 10. It really is.
Yeah. Maintenance is a 10. So all you've got to do is keep it clean, which is just a quick wipe on the outside, a little whip around the drip ball and the threads, and charging the battery. As well as pointed out, realistically, if you were buying this, you wouldn't actually ever have to take that battery out of that mod, which is a nice feature. It is nice to be able to charge that battery inside of that mod. Which is not something we've come across before in our hands anyway.
No.
So yeah, that's actually pretty cool, and it will work with other batteries as well. We've tried several batteries in it, 18650s, and it's charged them all. And when you are charging it, it does display your battery status, which is actually quite nice.
Yes.
So you know roughly what you're dealing with. Pretty cool stuff.
So you know if you're about to run out, you've got enough volts in there to get you through however long you're going out for, sort of thing. What we got next?
Build quality.
Build quality, isn't it?
And price.
Because it's a mod. Build quality and price. The build quality is actually pretty good. It's all stainless, like we say, except for the actual screen issue, which was us. I'm not going to include that because it's probably not going to happen on the finished product. So, but the build quality on it's actually really good. It feels very solid. There's no like give or take anything. The threads are up to what you would expect for the price you're paying. So yeah, I'm going to say it's like a 9.
Build quality for me, I think it's very well built. I do. The bottom cap's nice and sturdy. It's got a decent spring in there. The top's nicely done, and it's very solid. I think that's machine steel.
Yeah.
And the whole body is stainless steel, and it is not sort of thin. I've really given this a squeeze, and there's nothing going on now. The button is kind of Provaro like. It's not as soft as a Provaro's button, but it's kind of, you do get a very slight rattle, but there is a nice click to it which you don't get with a Provaro, and I really wish you did. But I do like a clicky button. It's nice to know there it is. Do you know what I mean? It's nice to know that. So yeah, build quality for me, I'm going to give this a 10. I don't really think there's anything I could point out that I'd like to change on it. In terms of build quality, it's actually very nicely done.
There we go. Price. I think it's worth its price. I really do actually. I mean, like we say, the build quality is good. The fact that it does 20 watts is excellent. Yeah, so for its price, it's actually a really good mod. It feels good in the hand. It's nice to use, except for little niggles with the menu system, which are niggles. It might not be your niggles at all. You might even prefer to round robin every time. I don't know why, but maybe you do. Yeah, I think it's a 10 for its price as well. I really do.
£65?
Yeah.
£65. Yeah, it's worth the money. It is worth the money. One thing we haven't clarified, and Raoul, please comment this in the comments. If you buy the standalone mod, as to whether you get that cable. Okay, I really hope you do. I'd imagine you would. If you don't, that's a little bit of a downside for me. I think that really should be included, because that's one of the selling points of this device. It can be used as a portable power bank, and if you're buying the mod, I'd imagine.
I'm quite sure.
Even if you don't get the plug, that's fine. But I think with the mod, you should definitely get the cable, because that's a big selling point. Without it, it's a Z-Max, isn't it? But it can go to 20 watts. But yeah, for the price, I think it's actually very really well built. There are a lot of mods out there that are this kind of price. SVD, Vamos, lava tubes, that kind of stuff. Typically, with the exception of the SVD, they're all chrome dip brass unless you specify stainless steel. You do not get, and they're usually about 45 quid, so about 20 quid cheaper, and you don't get a lot that you do get with this, which is at 20 watts. It's a different menu system, and personally I think this is better looking. It's slightly thinner.
It's very sleek, isn't it?
It is.
Compared to other mods.
We're unaware as to whether this is going to be coming in a smaller version. We don't know whether this will be available in an 18350 version. Personally, I wouldn't use an 18350 version. Just an 18350 last long enough.
Maybe an 18500, but would be too bad.
Maybe an 18500, or a telescopic version even. Maybe one of those is on the cards. We don't know. But these are all things that we like to see from this mod. Yeah. So there you go. That's kind of our 2 cents on that. But
overall,
very good. Overall. What we're doing, kit and mod, or just the kit, or just the mod, or both?
Both.
You first?
Yeah, for the kit, I'm going to give it 9 for the kit because you are paying another quite a bit of money on top of that, and alright, you get a box with it and you get the Nova, but I'd like something a bit more in there for the £100 when you can get the standalone on its own for 65. So I'm going to give it a 9 on that. But if you're buying just the mod on itself, it's a 10. It just is.
I'm going to do the mod first. The mod is a 10 if you get that cable. If you do not get that cable, I'm giving it a 7. And I know that's a big drop for a cable, but that cable is one of its biggest selling points. So that's my 2 cents on that. Or if the cable's available separately to buy on top of the mod, it's going to depend very much on how much that cable is. Because personally, and this is just personally, and again Raoul, please comment this in the box, I would not pay more than 70 quid for this mod with that cable. That is just where I sit. So I really would like to see it included. Either that or bump the price up to £69.99 and include that cable. Yeah. Because I think that is important. For the kit itself, as Williams pointed out, you're paying just under £35 more for the standalone mod. And if you do get that cable, what you're getting is a plug for your USB. You're getting, unless you get it with the mod as well already, you're getting the VV Nova, and you're getting the stainless steel drip tip, as well as a high rated Samsung 2200 mAh battery.
You just wish there was something else there, don't you?
I do feel that there should be a little bit more there. I think, this is just personally, seeing as this is a review / testing, I do think we should give our opinions about everything as a general. And for the £35 you're getting, I know batteries aren't cheap, 2200 mAh battery in this country, about 15 quid, there or thereabouts, is about right. I know you can get an AW 1600 mAh, no, so 2000 mAh, yeah. 18650, and that costs £15. Samsung are good batteries like AWR, so that makes sense. But the Nova, it does not make sense at 20 quid to me. £20 worth of difference, unless you're paying for that plug, the cable, and the Nova and the drip tip. The drip tip's a few quid, the Nova's a tenner, but realistically for this kit I would like to see some spare atomizer heads in there, and maybe a 10ml bottle of juice, just so that people could buy it and it's ready to go. Yeah. That would be an improvement for me. I'll have that as an option to add, whether it is or not, we don't know because it's not on the site yet, it's not for sale yet, but I'd like to see a kit that is complete. So you've got a Nova, 4 or 5 spare atomizer heads, a couple of 20ml bottles of juice that really do, and then obviously the full kit with this as it is involved. That I think would be really nice, and I'd pay a bit more for that.
I think if that all was on thrown in there, it would be a 10 for the kit as well. So
even if the price went up slightly, I think people will pay an extra tenner for a few atomizer heads and a couple of bottles of juice for an extra 15 quid. Or give that option to have several options, mod alone, sort of basic kit, but sort of standard
basically
kit and an advanced
kit. It, sort of thing.
Yeah, give 3 options. So you've got a standard kit, advanced kit, and then you've got the mod on itself. So your advanced kit is a bit more, but you get absolutely everything you're going to need. Yeah. Because that's something that does lack in this industry. Is a full kit. And one more thing I'd like to see in here is a nice set of instructions. A nice booklet, set of instructions explaining the ins and outs of the device. Again, we don't know if that's going to come, but I hope it does.
Yeah, hopefully it will tell you like your amp limit and all that sort of stuff that it's not necessary you need to know, but it is nice to know.
How to use the Nova, how to use the mod, and everything else.
Yeah.
I think that would be really nice. If you include all that, I think you're onto a definite 10 out of 10. You can't really go wrong. No. But instructions, I think, are very important in this kind of industry. I know mods, and if you're buying mods, you don't necessarily need them because a lot of guys will be familiar with mods. But if this is a full kit for an advanced user, people still going to want to know some information about it. Most guys will know how to use a Nova. Indeed.
Yeah.
So that is kind of our ratings on this. VPro, which we used for, we've had it for a couple of weeks, haven't we?
Yeah.
A couple of weeks, putting it for its places, and it's done what it's supposed to do. Yeah,
it's not underperformed at any point, so.
No. And the 20 watt thing, I know a lot of guys, I mean, I am one of the people that do like to vape at higher watts, or total watts. I use volts, but higher watts. And having that feature is nice to, it's nice to have it, even if you don't use it. It's like a waterproof watch. Yeah. Never going to go scuba diving, but it's nice to know if you drop it in the sink, it's alright. It's true. So it's nice that you've got that option. It's not just that, but Cartos, I won't go above 10 watts usually, but put a rebuildable on it and I'll hit 20, 25 watts usually on a day-to-day basis. So it's nice to have it there, and it is nice at this price range as well, because it's not something that's available in this price range. Really.
Not 20 watts now.
Not 20 watts, no. I mean, the DNA is quite an expensive chip. The chipset of the DNA is basically the same price as this mod as it is. You buy a mod with it included, and it's probably about 3 or 4 times the price. So it's actually it's quite nice that it's got it. It's not going to be quite as bang on as the DNA, but you're paying nowhere near as much, which is wicked. I think we're pretty much wrapping up on this review. Yeah, we do like it.
Yeah, just a big thanks to Raoul for sending this out to us. We really do appreciate having a first glance look at a new device that isn't even on the market yet. It's a nice change of pace, and it's a big thank you for that one. Yeah,
it is very nice. Yeah, we would we would recommend it as long as everything else is alright with you guys who are looking at buying it. So if you're happy with the price, it's definitely a good mod.
I would recommend it if you like what's in the kit.
Yeah. Definitely, it's as simple as that. Yeah, pretty much hit the nail on that head. So yeah, we would definitely recommend it. Been using it quite happily. We'll continue to do so. There's no problems with it so far that are worth shouting about. Nothing really at all. Wicked stuff. So yeah, I think we're pretty much done.
We are done. Yeah,
we are done. All right, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Hopefully this has been semi-helpful. As we get more information on this, we probably will do an update / second review, so that we can give you every and each bit of relevant details as we can. This is kind of test / review at the minute. So the more information we get, we'll do another one for you, just so you know exactly what you've got. So this will be part 1, that'll be part 2. Thank you very much for watching, guys. I've been Mr. Proton. This has been The Worm.
See you soon.